hoping to make his first All-Star game this season, averaging a career-high 17 points on 63% shooting from the
he ain't
floor.
missing, Hannah.
No kidding. I got that perk. Pistons head to the Bay tonight, taking on Steph and the Warriors. Curry leading the league in three-pointers again. Are you kidding me? He's done that 11 for the last 13 seasons. Those three-pointers, are we looking at that perhaps as a deciding factor in this matchup? The Warriors lead the league in threes per game. Pistons have a very stingy defense, allowing the 7th fewest threes per night. All of which brings us to senior writer Anthony Slater. Now, so with the trade deadline only 6 days away, what's the latest on Golden State's pursuit of Giannis Antetokounmpo?
Yeah, it's interesting. Warriors GM Mike Dunleavy is actually in New Zealand. Was at a game yesterday between two potential lottery picks down there in Auckland, which would tell you while he is making a ton of calls, and he is probably he's the driver of this pursuit. He's also making alternative plans, right? They may use this 2026 draft pick, and he needs to try to find players, to potentially use that on. As far as on the ground, Jimmy Butler in San Francisco last night has 2 events. He's on crutches going into these events. He's getting ready for ACL surgery. Jonathan Kuminga is trying to rehab a minor bone bruise. He's kind of been looking forward to this trade deadline for various reasons for a while. And then Steph Curry and Draymond Green, talking to them, they're focused on trying to win. They got to beat the Pistons tonight. They're trying to climb in the standings. So while they will be involved somewhat in these later stages of these conversations, they got to focus. Yeah,
listen, the Pistons just got rocked last night coming off a terrible loss. What's the plan for the Warriors tonight, slowing down that dynamic Detroit duo we just talked about?
Yeah, I'd point to 2 of the Warriors' summer additions as quietly important, especially in this post-Jimmy Butler rotation, where DeAnthony Melton is really rising. He's on a minimum. They got him this summer. He rehabbed his own ACL injury. He'll probably guard Cade Cunningham a decent amount. He's become one of their better point of attack guys. And then Al Horford finally is being placed as their starting center. They've upped his minute limit to about 24. They're planning him next to Draymond Green. Steve Kerr says he's sticking with that. And they need to be a really good defensive team. I think they're going to be limited without Jimmy Butler offensively. It's going to be a lot of Steph, and then they just need to stop Cade and Jalen Durant by having Al Horford and Draymond Green really using their brains on the backside of the defense.
Slater, thanks. We appreciate you. We'll be talking to you very soon. All right, talking about some on-the-floor stuff with Golden State. That's something new, given all the news there. But the Pistons, are they kind of gotten exposed on this road trip a little bit, right? Like a close game against Denver. They lose by 18 to the Suns. What do they need to do?
Well, I believe they're going to bounce back. When you think of the Pistons, the first word come to mind is physicality. Right? I don't like the Pistons that walk into the game and be retaliators. I like the Pistons that walk into the game and be instigators. That's who the hell they are. They one of the most, if not the most physical team in the game. Stick to your bread and butter. Get to that 2-man game between Cade and Durant. And Beef Stew and Durant, y'all do what y'all do down low. And that's beat people up.
Yeah, I love it because they're getting back to their championship DNA, right, with this franchise, which is really, really cool.
They want some action.
Yeah, and Cade Cunningham, I mentioned he's an all-star, so we got the all-star reserves coming up this weekend. So I really want to know from you guys, who's one all-star reserve that you really want to see, Wendy?
Well, I'll give you a guy who, if he made the team, he would play full speed when in LA in a couple weeks, and that is Norm Powell from the Miami. He wanted to make it so bad last year from the Clippers. He got traded. He's having even a better year this year for the Heat. And look, I know the Heat are in the play-in right now. They've had a lot of stuff go on with this roster. Norm has been a vital piece going forward. And look, I know he's not going to be on the first or second line, but he has had a remarkable career. And if nothing else, he has proven to have an all-star mindset. And I think he should be rewarded.
How about a guy that's a champion that is probably the most shocking to not have been named an all-star previously, 9 seasons in? Jamal Murray.
Yeah. How has he never made it? I don't get it.
Well, because at start of season, sometimes he deals with injuries.
I know.
He misses a couple games. It's really how you start the season that gets you all-star, not necessarily how you finish. Because he's known for finishing postseason playoff games, but I'm just glad that this is a career year for him. 26 points per game. Without Nikola, he's done a sensational job of keeping this team competitive. Congrats, Jamal. Long overdue. Better late than never.
Yeah, no kidding.
Mine, I'm going with Mr. Jack of all trades, Jalen Johnson. Jalen Johnson, who has been playing at an all-NBA level, some could say MVP level down there for the Hawks. 22 points over 10 rebounds, almost 8 assists, and he's doing it on 50% from the.
This is one of those moments in a season where everything feels quiet on the surface, but underneath, you can tell the entire franchise is holding its breath. Because what Steve Kerr just revealed about his conversations with Mike Dunleavy says way more than people realize. Not because of what he confirmed, but because of what he didn't. Kerr basically admitted that he talks to Dunleavy almost every single day. They're in constant communication. They're locked in. They're aligned. But at the same time, nothing concrete has crossed his desk yet. No offers, no real proposals, no "we're close" conversations, just speculation. And the most important line of all, it's all going down to the wire. That's the type of statement that should make every Warriors fan sit up straight. Because when a front office that powerful stays silent while the league is screaming, it usually means one of two things. Either nothing is happening at all, or something very big is being carefully protected until the last possible second. And if you know anything about how Golden State operates, you already know the answer. This franchise does not leak. This franchise does not panic. This franchise does not make noise unless the move is real. And that's why Kerr's separation of church and state philosophy actually makes this even more interesting. He's saying, I'm here to coach, not to build the roster. I trust Joe, I trust Mike, I trust the process. And I know they won't jeopardize the long-term future unless something truly makes sense. Read between the lines. That's not the language of a team giving up on the season. That's the language of a team waiting for the right door to open. Now add context to this moment. Jimmy Butler is out for the season. That alone completely changed the ceiling of this roster. The Warriors went from having a second reliable star to suddenly being back in the position of asking Steph Curry to do too much. And yet, Steph is still delivering. At 37 years old, he's averaging over 27 points a game, still leading, still creating, still carrying expectations that most players half his age couldn't survive. That's where the urgency comes from. Because the problem is not whether Steph is good enough. The problem is whether the roster around him is good enough to justify wasting another year of his prime. And Steve Kerr knows this. Mike Dunleavy knows this. Joe Lacob knows this. Everyone inside that building knows this. That's why the Giannis conversation keeps coming back over and over again. Dunleavy already said publicly that the Warriors are more protective of their draft picks than most teams. But he also said that if a true superstar becomes available, they will be in the game. Not maybe, not potentially, in the game. And Giannis is the definition of a franchise-shifting player. The reason Golden State keeps being mentioned is simple. They're one of the few teams in the league that can actually build a real package. Future first-round picks all the way through 2032. Young players like Jonathan Kuminga, Brandon Podziemski. Real assets, real leverage, real flexibility. But what makes this situation even more fascinating is that the Warriors are not desperate. They're patient, they're selective. They're waiting for the move that doesn't just improve the team, but actually changes the direction of the franchise. That's why Kerr's "nothing has reached my desk yet" doesn't mean nothing is happening. It means everything is being handled exactly how this organization always handles things. Quietly, internally, strategically. Look at history. The Warriors don't do small moves. They don't chase marginal upgrades. They wait until the opportunity is so big that it justifies the risk. That's what they did with Kevin Durant. That's what they did with Jimmy Butler. And that's what they're preparing for again. And the most important part of Kerr's comments is this. He trusts the front office not to jeopardize the future unless it really makes sense. That means they are willing to jeopardize the future, just not for anything, only for something special. That's the real message Dub Nation should take from this. The Warriors are not sitting back because they're satisfied. They're sitting back because they're waiting for the moment that's worth blowing the doors off. And the clock is real. Being 8th in the West at 27-22 is not catastrophic, but it's not championship territory. It's the definition of good enough to survive, not good enough to dominate. And for a team built around one of the greatest players of all time, that's not the standard. The margin is thinner than ever. Kerr said it himself. That's not drama, that's honesty. Every game matters, every decision matters, every trade rumor matters, because the Warriors are at a crossroads. Either they accept being a solid playoff team that fights every night and hopes for miracles, or they make the type of move that reminds the league who they really are. And that's why this deadline feels different. Not loud, not chaotic, not desperate. Quiet, calculated, dangerous. Because when the Warriors go silent, that's usually when the real conversations are happening behind closed doors. So while fans refresh Twitter and analysts argue on TV, the truth is this. Steve Kerr is coaching. Mike Dunleavy is working the phones. Joe Lacob is watching the landscape. And the entire organization is waiting for the one move that makes it all worth it. Not a patch, not a Band-Aid, a shift. And if that moment comes, it won't leak, it won't be teased, it will just hit. Dub Nation, this is the calm before something big. Either the Warriors ride this out and trust internal growth, or they swing for a superstar that changes everything overnight. Now I want your take. Do you trust the Warriors to wait for the perfect move even if it goes down to the final second? Or do you think they should act sooner and lock something in before it's too late? Drop your opinion in the comments, hit like if you're locked in for this deadline chaos, and subscribe to Warriors Nation News, because whatever happens next is going to define the future of this franchise.